All right, welcome back. This is really interesting. There's a news alert on Apple. Bloomberg reporting that Apple held internal talks about potentially buying Perplexity artificial intelligence earlier today. CNBC confirmed that Meta had approached Perplexity also about a potential deal, decided against it, went with Scale AI. Tim Seymour, I think what's fascinating, and maybe Perplexity is just shopping itself here, who knows, and letting reporters know, who knows, but Apple has never been a buyer, really, of anything. They just build it. This would be clearly the biggest deal Apple's ever done.
I mean, if anything, you're selling Google on this news, but I think this is not surprising to hear that they've kicked the tires, whether this is a deal they finally done, right? Isn't their biggest deal Beats at this point? So, and all we do is talk about where Apple's not positioned in AI. So, interesting headline, but right, who hasn't looked? I would be surprised if this deal gets done, but that's what happens when you make bold statements on live TV. I have no idea.
Well, that's kind of what we do. I mean, but Karen, my point would be, and listen, Perplexity, private company, there's AI competitors. We know there's going, you don't need to use AI to know there's going to be deal making in this space. There has to be. There's too many providers.
It has to be. Yeah.
Would it be bullish for Apple? Would it be neutral for Apple, negative for Apple? Do we have any idea?
I'm thinking sort of bullish. I mean, so much has been made of Apple not having, they're just so far behind in AI. It's interesting why we hear this story about Perplexity from Meta and then later from Apple. I mean, I think the last round of Perplexity was done at
$14 billion. I'm looking at now.
$14 billion.
$14 billion.
To your
so
point,
on a
how big of a deal for Apple, that'd be way bigger.
What would they pay? What would they pay? And we're going to we call this wild speculation, I think, on national TV.
Yeah.
So if Perplexity's valued at 14 as of December, the last funding round, it's more than that now. What would the multiple have to be to buy? How much would Apple pay for a $14 billion valuation company? 25?
See, this is why we get into whether it's bullish or bearish for Apple, because Apple...
It's all right to the price.
But Apple could pay royalties, right? So that was the normal thing. The conversation was Perplexity.
Why buy it when you could just
Why buy it when you could rent it,
yes.
pay per use or pay per click or pay for whatever.
Because then you can control.
Same way with Google.
You can control the content.
Yeah, and that's assuming they want to control the content.
Well, BBC just sued Perplexity, alleging, whatever. Who knows what's right?
But who knows? But a royalty deal doesn't even need approval. Right, so you don't need any regulatory approval the same way that you would need.
Sounds like Grasso, the investment banker, saying Apple don't make the deal.
I would say don't make the deal because we just talked about Beats was a $3 billion acquisition. This is the valuation is $14 billion. Is it smart to do right now when you usually either rent it or imitate? They're never innovative. They replicate. They're replicative, and this would be a break from that tradition of replicating. I don't know. It's
they built the iPhone.